color shifts, hollow shifts, and liquid changeables. I love these things. I make them a bunch, and I know the bass like them too. My hope is that the trout will like them as well, because I've got 5 different molds to shoot today, all of which are very trout friendly, and we've got a bunch of changeables and color shifts to run through them. First cup ready to rock and roll. 1 cup of BaitPlastics 242 Ultra Clear Low Odor, which is the norm around here. I know trout like pink. I'm not the best trout fisherman in the world, but that I do know. So what can we do for a pink-ish changeable? I know none better than Lureworks Chameleon. Let's go 20 drops. Such an interesting color because it's purple, but you see on the edges how it's pink, and then you get this brown changeable aspect to it as well, especially when you add some black flake. So let's do that now. I've got the 062 black out. Let's do a 1/4 teaspoon. Love this bigger flake in there. It adds so much texture, but we're not done. We're also going to go with 015 at 1/8 of a teaspoon. Scratch that, 1/16. I told you wrong. 1/16, just for a little pepper. All right, before we put the gold in, just watch. Do you see that? Look at that brown that popped out already, just from the black flake. Isn't that cool? Watch it change. Such a cool pigment. No other colors put in there. That was just the flake, the impact of the flake. And now you get that whole changeable thing going on. Let's spike it with just a little bit of gold, but not just gold flake. I went to the Diamond Pearl, Lureworks Diamond Pearl Gold. We don't need much of this, so 1/32, 1/2 of a 16th. Super easy to overdo it with this stuff, but a little bit sure does add a lot. Woo, you see that? Man, that's cool. So awesome. 8-ounce single injector, which is part of the magic today, right? We have only 1 Pyrex cup, 1 pigment, some flake, single injector, yet we're gonna get baits with multiple colors. Give her a quick stir here. It is a little bit warmer than I would normally shoot because everything is butt freaking cold because it's winter. So here we go. We're not going to shoot all these. You can see I have 5 molds on the table. We're going to shoot this first one, picking ones that I think will really shine best in this color. We're going to do this, what is that, the 4th one, and this last one. All right, first of the 3 that we shot. Love this little dude. It is the 1.5 Ned Craw, and look at those freaking baits. Holy moly, I love this color. Oh my lands, let me get you a close up. Golly, such an awesome little bait, especially when you get a changeable color like this. Look at it change. Brown to pink. So I've been told, again, not really the trout fishermen want to grow in that, do it more often, but I have been told that they lean towards pink for some reason, as well as natural colors. So what the heck is more natural than a pinkish purple that shifts over to a natural brown? I mean, come on, right? This should absolutely slay 'em. That's a good start. Let's check out our next one. Just when you thought it couldn't get any better, check out this guy. Oh, this is the 1.375 inch stonefly. But look at that. Look at how the brown kind of highlights off on the thicker parts of the body, and then where it thins out, you see more of that pink. I mean, look at that. Look at that! Goodness, I love this mold. Of course, it's not just trout either, right? I mean, panfish, smallies would probably eat this guy, creek fishing. It is so, so good. This one you guys have seen on the channel before, but it is a winner too, especially in this colorway. This is the 2.2, I think? Yeah, 2.2 inch caddisfly larva. We took this one creek fishing on another video, earlier video, that collab with Joe over at Bait and Tackle. Laminates like a dream, so if you wanted to do something other than a changeable, laminates super well. Of course, all these do. Slightly larger bait, right? 2 inches, the other one's 1.5 inches and less. Man, oh man, it makes this color look just fabulous. Second cup of BaitPlastics is warmed back up, ready for our second color, although that first one is going to be a tough one to follow. That was a dandy. Next up is Colorshift by Barlow's. This is Rose Violet Blue. We're gonna spike this guy with a little Holoshift, so we need to keep it translucent. I would normally go at least a full 1/16, if not a full 1/8 per cup. We're going to start out with less than half of a 1/16, just to kind of tint our plastic. If that doesn't look like it's quite enough, you can always add a little bit more. Let's go with just a little bit more. And then we'll go to our Holoshift, and if we need to add more of this pigment after the Holoshift, we can do so. Very nice. Holoshift powder of choice today is Royale with Cheese. It's kind of a purple to orange, purple to gold shiftiness. Seemed like it would complement our Barlow's Colorshift quite nicely today. I'm going to go with a half of a teaspoon, or half of a 1/16 of a teaspoon. See where that gets us. Oh yeah, see that extra shimmer? And there's I can see the orange that's now been added. Ooh, that's cool, look at that. Oh yeah. Let's go with 1 drop of black. Wasn't on the agenda, but I think it will benefit both of these color shifts. The black does a nice job to pull both out. I don't know if I said 1 drop, let's do 2. Let's see what happens here. Woo! Yep, that was the right call. Nice. I think we need some flake. I got out Barlow's 015 holographic purple, and I just did a half of a 1/16, just a little bit of pepper in the sparkly variety. Yeah, just a couple little twinkles. Can I say that, twinkles? Just a couple little twinkles here and there. Same injector here, although we are going to shoot both of the other molds this time. There's one that you haven't seen yet, and likewise there. And I'm shooting that stonefly again because dang it, it's freaking awesome and I want to see it in every color. So if you like it too, you can look forward to seeing it in all the colors that we do today. Alright, because we saw it already, we're going to start with this one. Very nice. It's got kind of a galaxy look to it. Little smoky galaxy. I'm glad I added that little bit of flake just to break things up a little bit. See that purple come through? From both, right? The Colorshift from Barlow's has that violet in it, and then obviously the Royale with Cheese. Those are gorgeous. Wow. Alright. We gotta move on. Could look at these all day. First new one. You guys haven't seen this one yet, and I don't think that I've ever shot it on the channel. Looky there. Definitely another sleeper mold with Epic. I don't hear a lot of folks talking about this one, but this is the sandworm. Just screams trout to me. See that? All the little legs. I've already caught smallmouth on it. Totally awesome bait. Designed, I believe, for the salt, because I guess sandworms are a salt thing. I don't know. I'm in West Virginia, far away from the ocean. But boy, that works. See how it's clear on the edges, and then that purple just shoots right through? Woo! And the other new mold. Oh, how I love this one. The 2-inch Slick Swim. And it's got that special sprue in it, so if you did shoot this as a laminate, it's not multi-ports on top, it's the single, just like the 1.7 prey bait, the 1.7 whip wad, same thing. The 2-inch Slick Swim, one shot, one port, it'll spin it around and you get a laminate top and bottom. Look at that. It looks like a laminate just because of the way the light comes through, and then you got that purple on top. Tell me that's not freaking awesome. Oh gosh, it looks good. Man alive. Shoots perfectly. I mean, what a mold. What a mold. I need another one of these so I can do, what is it, 10? I think? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so I can do like 20 at a time. Golly, look at that. Looks just like a laminate. So cool. Next up is an oldie but a goodie. I believe this was Barlow's, or one of Barlow's original Colorshift powders that they ever made when they made up the line, Lava Craw, and it is fantastic. Love this color. I actually have a recipe when I was making baits as kind of like buy it in the bag. I had made up a recipe, and it's long. If you like to take notes, I have mine. You might want to get a pencil. It starts 1 cup of BaitPlastics, just like always. We're going to need a full 1/4 teaspoon, so a little bit more saturated with this one. So 1/4 teaspoon of Lava Craw. Man, I mean, you could shoot it just like that. Let's be honest. You could shoot this color just like that, and it would be phenomenal. All of that fiery goodness shifting around. Look at that. Oh my lands, they knocked it out of the park with this color. But we are taking it up another notch. First up, 2 drops of black. Show you what that does. There we go. Just kind of deepens it. To that, 1/8 of a teaspoon of the large black flake. Keep that 1/8 in your hand. You're going to need the smaller 015 black flake, 1/8 of a teaspoon of it as well. Don't let it go. Still need this guy. 1/8 of a teaspoon of Barlow's holographic red. Going heavy on the flake here because that 1/4 teaspoon makes it pretty saturated, so we can afford a little bit more. We have one more, 1/8 of a teaspoon, and this is holographic orange, also by Barlow's. There's actually one more. Let's get this, give this a stir, see where we sit. We'll decide if I'm going to put it in or not. She's sitting up on me for one, getting pretty cool. But yeah, we've got a good start there. Let's go ahead and do it. Why not? We also need 1/8 of a teaspoon of Diamond Pearl Red. This red Diamond Pearl is strong, so a whole 1/8 of a teaspoon for a cup of it. Yeah, that's a zinger. But it does add a nice effect. All right, clearly I need to get that warmed up. Let me do that. I'm not going to show you what it looks like in the cup. We'll just go straight to the molds. First up, the Ned Craw. I shot everything except for the swim bait mold this time. So let's check these little dudes out. Oh, I'm glad I added that red Diamond Pearl. You can see it sparkle there. Look at that. See that? How it's yellowish orange and then red down below. You turn it. Oh man, switches places. Golly, this pigment, man. I love it. With spring coming up, if you guys are starting to think fire crawl and want something new, maybe a new twist on it. By the way, this is the bottom. I don't know that I've showed you that yet. We left them in the mold before. Nice flat bottom, little legs. Look at that. Ah, it's so good. Jeez. Next up are sandworms. Everything fills in. So cool. This is a huge cavity mold. 20 of them. You shoot 20 at a time. So many baits out of one mold. Awesome ribbing. And that, I mean, all the details in these molds, it just works so well with this stuff that we're using today. Of course, we got to do our stonefly. As tasty as ever. I know we're not laminating today, but I have laminated this mold before and it is spectacular. We will do that together. This is not the last of the trout baits, the trout specific type video, because I want to make a bunch and we will laminate on the next one. But for now, these color shifts are doing just fine. And last but not least, our 2.2 inch caddis fly larva. And it looks fantastic. I love these legs, how unique they are. They don't just go out, right? They got that little, just that little detail, how they go forward at the end. So good. Of course, the forked tail. Tell me that wouldn't get bit. Holy moly. Last but not least, my all-time favorite, hands down, changeable by MF, Cutthroat Trout. This is an absolute gorgeous color. If you're not familiar with it, it's like a really light watermelon with this core sprinkled through it of copper. If you get the saturation right, it is absolutely phenomenal. It actually looks like a core shot. I've got a full cup here, just like always. We're gonna go with 30 drops of this to start. MF pigment is much thinner than a lot of the others out there, so you find yourself using a lot more drops of it, and you can see what I'm talking about. See the edges? That's that light watermelon, and then obviously this center core of copper, just absolutely phenomenal. Now I am going to cheat just a little. We're going to add something to this one because I think it brings out that aspect of copper. We are going to actually add 12 drops of MF Copperhead to the mix. Again, that's just to bring out and deepen that copper aspect. Yeah, you can see there on the stir, right? We still have a very translucent bait and that copper shimmer. So now to the flake. Going to Lureworks for these guys. Green pumpkin flake in two sizes. This one is the medium size 040, and we're going to use 1/8 of a teaspoon. This is cool flake. Look at that. Of the smaller stuff, 015, we're going to use 1/16. Mix that in. Gives it just a little bit of texture while holding to the essence of what makes up that changeable, right? That green overtone or undertone with the greenish flake. One more go with the 8-ouncer, and because this color looks fantastic in everything, we're shooting all 5. And because these molds are nice and small, we can easily do all 5 with an 8-ouncer. You could probably do all 5 with a 6. Starting with the caddis fly larva. Look at that bait. Look at the light refraction on the edges. Oh my goodness. I love that core of copper. I'm a sucker for green pumpkin, watermelon with copper anyway. Man, alive. Next up is the Ned Craw. Look at those. So tasty. See how it looks like a laminate there when the light passes through? That bottom is lighter, and then you have that darker top. So good. So good. They call this little guy the 1.5 Ned Craw, like I said, and you could totally fish it on tiny little jig head as a Ned bait. I fished it on a drop shot, had lots of success with it. If I'm thinking now towards trout fishing, I'm thinking float sinker quite a ways down depending on depth, and then back from that, empty hook, right? Just a hook, no jig head, and this guy so that that sinker takes it down and it just kind of bounces along underneath of a float coming down the river. That sucker is gonna get chomped. Continuing on with the sandworm, all 20 of them. Man, I can't get over the way that the light passes through. Look at that. Gorgeous. That copper core going right down through the middle. Of course, we have to see the stonefly. I love opening this mold up every single time. It never disappoints. Look at that. Oh my lands. There's my fingertip. You can get an idea of how small that bait is. But it goes on a jig head, like a 1/32 ounce, perfectly. Size 4 hook. Man, it's so good. I know I'm saying that a lot, but it is. It's so good. Last one. You guys ready for this? The 2-inch slick swim. Oh man. Let me pull these out. See how it looks like a laminate? I have seen this color before in the 2-inch slick swim. Even though it's only one color, it totally looks like a laminate. Such a beautiful, translucent, multi-dimensional. Look at that right there. Look at that. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Colorshift, changeable, win today for sure. Holy moly, these all worked out beautifully. I love them. Hopefully you guys do too. As always, I do appreciate you coming along for the ride today. And until the next build, see you guys in the shop.